everyone, welcome to Super Dwarf Sunday for January 2nd, 2022. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to 2022. I'm Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Equine Sanctuary, and this is Tao Seti, also known as TC from Reach Out Reptiles. In this month's episode of Super Dwarf Sunday, you are going to get to hear about TC's latest adventures, which include basically an ecdysis cycle. He was in shed for most of the past month, but when he came out of his ecdysis cycle, he went to the veterinarian for just a regular checkup and wellness exam. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. And then TC made an appearance in our New Year's Eve live stream, and somebody asked how big he was or what size he was. And he's about 4 feet long, and I'm going to weigh him for you so that you know exactly how much he weighs this week. This is the very familiar scale station, which you have seen in many of my videos, and which TC likes to rest on many times when he's out and about. So weighing him on it is not a big deal. I had to make sure the units were showing in kilograms so that I was able to convert those to grams and get an accurate weight on him. So he weighed 0.51 kilograms. You just multiply by 1,000 to get the number of grams, which is 510 grams. Now I want to flash back to last month's episode of Super Dwarf Sunday, where TC was noticeably absent, and that's because he was just entering an ecdysis cycle, and so I had a corn snake and a Morelia Bredli with me in the video. But off to my right is TC's enclosure, and you can just barely see him here lying like a blob in his net, as I did last month's video. Well, he went through his shed cycle and he came out looking beautiful, and he guest starred with me in some snake cognition videos where we talked about the neural consequences of captivity on the snake's brain. And then following that, TC paid a visit to our veterinarian in Centennial, Colorado, Critter Care Animal Hospital, where Dr. Pfaff did a just annual wellness examination on him and 2 other snakes. And then we went ahead and did nidovirus testing on TC. He had a co-anal and a cloacal swab done, and that was sent in for PCR testing. And that showed up in his patient portal, which I'm able to check at home. It's very convenient for me. It took about a week or more for the test results to come back, but you see here that he was negative for nidovirus on his PCR test. And then, just to show you how much he weighed on his vet visit, this was on December 14th, he also weighed 510 grams at the vet, so his weight hasn't changed since then. I want to go over a scientific paper, and I might make this a new segment. I just thought that this would be interesting to go over. I went over it in our Royals at the Ranch episode, and I'm just going to go over some bits and pieces of this paper here for our Super Dwarf Sunday. This is a paper by Jose W. Valdez from the German Center for Integrative Biodiversity Research in Leipzig, Germany. And some important things or interesting things I wanted to point out from this paper are that Google Trends was used to determine a global popularity of the most popular pet snakes or pet reptiles from 2004 to 2020. And that the largest consumer reptile markets are Europe and the United States, with over 9 million reptiles being kept as pets there. And in the United States alone, reptile ownership has more than doubled in the last 20 years. There's an estimated 4.5 million homes that currently contain at least one pet reptile. I thought that that was really interesting. And then this says, although the reptile pet trade involves thousands of species, it tends to be dominated by a relatively small number of commonly traded and popular reptiles, which include species like bearded dragons, leopard geckos, ball pythons, corn snakes, and crested geckos. So they're saying those are the 5 most popular reptiles that are in captivity and kept as pets. So as we scroll down, 91 participants were surveyed, which doesn't really sound like a lot to me, but that's how they got part of the statistics, were from these 91 participants surveyed. The other part of the statistics was from a Google Trends search, and Google Trends looks at 100% of the searches done on these different topics. And so a combined Google Trends search and this survey determined that reticulated pythons ranked about number 7 in popularity as far as pet reptiles go. And they didn't differentiate between super dwarf, dwarf, or mainland reticulated pythons. They were just all grouped together as reticulated pythons. But if you would like to read this whole paper, it has a lot of interesting facts in it about pet reptiles, the reptile trade, and statistics. And then it references many, many other papers that are related to that. It is free and open access, so you can just look that up on Google Scholar under the name using Google Trends to determine current, past, and future trends in reptile pet trade, and it should come up. Everybody, TC and I would like to thank you so much for watching and joining us again this month for another episode of Super Dwarf Sunday. If you would like photos or short video clips of your Super Dwarf reticulated python included in any of these episodes, please email them to me at behavioreducationllc@gmail.com or send those to me via Facebook Messenger. Those are the best ways to get me short videos and photos. Until next time, everybody, please remember to always be kind and love your animals.